We have with us Josh McFarland, who is the marketing director of the Beckley Galleria as well as the Crossroads Mall Chick-fil-A. And then we also have with us Richard Gerald, who is the owner-operator of both of those stores in Beckley. He is also a Concord Business alum and has just recently been named as our new Board of Governors member. In fact, he'll be taking on his duties at our upcoming meeting in 2 weeks. So we're really glad to have him here. Appreciate the snacks. And if you will, welcome Mr. Gerald and Mr. McFarland.
Thanks. So am I on? Is this good? Okay, great. Thanks for taking a part of your morning, your afternoon to come out and be with us today. It is truly an honor and a privilege and pleasure to come back home. This was not here when I was here. This was a building that in the bowels of the building, this is where you took your computer class when I was here. And I remember having a computer class on a TRS-80, which we called them Trash 80s. And they were from Radio Shack, if that tells you anything about the quality of the programming that we had back then. In 1983 and 1984, I graduated in 84. But it's good to come back and have a chance to share with you. And thanks for letting me bribe you with some sandwiches. We got sandwiches over there if you like one. Sandwiches and free food always helps, especially when you're a college student. I get that, but it works for adults too. What I just wanted to kind of share with you today, first of all, I wanted to share with you my story, because I think my story may resonate with some of you and where you're at in life, where you've been in life, and give you some hope for the future. Because my life didn't start out as this rosy, great opportunity. I wasn't willed a business. It wasn't passed down to me from my father and my grandfather, and like you hear some people. I went to the School of Hard Knocks and ended up where I'm at today. First of all, let me say this, is I grew up in Beckley. Michael, I saw you, Michael. Michael graduated with my daughter at Woodrow a couple weeks, was it 13? Class of 13. And but I grew up in Beckley. I started my first paying real job when I was 15 years old. And I've never had a day since then that I haven't had a job. But it started even before that, delivering papers, cutting lawns, and just doing anything I could. Because my life didn't exactly start out easy. At 7 years old in 1969, this coming week next week will be the anniversary on April 15th of 1969. We got a phone call at our house that was a life-changing moment. I'll remember it, and it wasn't today's tax day. It wasn't that kind of a call. It was a call where my father was a coal miner, and he worked at Armco Steel near Whitesville, West Virginia. And he was an underground coal miner, and there was a slate fall accident. Slate fall accident meant that the rooftop fell on top of him, severed his spine and broke his back, and he never walked again, never worked again. So for a 7-year-old, that is a life-changing moment. And I share with you, people look at me when I was walking in going, what in the world's he doing? And some of you may know what this is, and some of you may not. This is a lunch pail for a coal miner. You pack this lunch pail and you put stuff in the bottom, and there's a little tray that you put stuff in, and it's got a little name on it. Back in the old days, you used to put names on stuff with these little name makers, that you'd press it and it would press it into the plastic and it would stick on. And I made that and put it on my dad's box. And he had that with him when he was in that accident in 1969. But it was a life-changing moment for me. And this is a little story about it, and I won't go into it today. But these are two things that, you hear the story. If your house caught on fire, what would you take? What would you go grab? Well, for me, it would be these things, because these are, kind of the things that help create who I am today. And it motivates me because I knew that I didn't want to have to go in the coal mines. Nothing against coal miners. They're great people. They did great work. They do great work today. But that's not what I wanted to do because I saw what it did to my dad. I never met my grandfather who was killed in the coal mines when my dad was 4 years old. I saw all my uncles and cousins who had black lung and emphysema. I didn't want to do that. So it motivated me. Now, I grew up on what I made working and Social Security and stuff like that. And I told Dr. Bogus this story back in April, this story of, I'll never forget, I guess this was probably 1982, standing in the hall, because when I was down here talking with you that day, there was a line at the business office, and they were, paying their fees and things. And I said, I remember standing in that line. And I remember standing in that line because the I guess, Pell Grant people, now it's FAFSA or whatever you call it, told me that I made too much money working my part-time job to qualify for student aid. And there was a girl standing in front of me, and she took her check and she cashed it in, and they gave her money back. She had more money in aid than it took to come to school. And she said, let's go to the mall. And now I knew that afternoon I was going to the mall to work. But she was going to spend money. And here I am, the child of a disabled coal miner, and I can't get 1 penny of student aid. And for 10 years, I wrote a check for $63.34 a month to pay for my student loans because I was dedicated that I was going to finish. And I did it. I finished in 4 years. I graduated here at UCLA, University of Concord, located in Athens. I mean, let me tell you what, you get people's attention when they say, where'd you go to school? And you say UCLA, and you just leave it there. You just leave it there. They don't have to know any different. But, and I graduated in 1984 and did it in 4 years. And I started working straight out of school. I mean, the week after I graduated, I started working. And I went to work in retail. Now, I've already had jobs in retail while I was in high school. And I went to college so I wouldn't have to get a job in retail. It's what I thought. But little did I know that next career in my life prepared me for where I am today. I had a 20-year career in retail, if you go back to when I was in high school, and it helped prepare me for where I am today. Because Chick-fil-A and where I've been all these years. I started with Chick-fil-A and I signed on with them in '99 and started in 2000. And I've been an operator for 16 years. Started in Northern Virginia, and then I came home to Beckley. So it's been a great career, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit. But Josh, you want to flip it over? First of all, I want to just kind of give you all a little snapshot of Chick-fil-A and who we are, what we're about, and then we'll kind of go from there. Now the volume, all we got is this right here, so you probably have to listen tight.
We cook, but we don't just serve sandwiches. We serve meals made from good ingredients, warm and cared for from the time they're cooked to the moment they're served.
We prepare, but not just a meal, an experience. Everything we do is with the greatest of care. A clean table, a pair of pickles laid on a bun just so. Our love is wrapped up in the little things, the in-between things that aren't said but are always felt.
We believe with all our hearts that kindness is a higher calling. We want to know people, to nourish them. We love seeing individuals, teams, and communities brighten lives by caring for others.
We build on a legacy of one man's pioneering spirit, his faithful stewardship, his vision that being your best requires hard work, that local ownership isn't just unique, way to do business, and that giving generously can help good to grow.
We are more than a restaurant. We're a home.
Where the hugs are just as tender as the chicken, the smiles just as sweet as the lemonade, and the conversations just as nourishing as the meal.
To those we serve, neighbors,
Friends,
family.
We are Chick-fil-A.
we are Chick-fil-A.
We are Chick-fil-A. We are Chick-fil-A.
We are Chick-fil-A.
Then it becomes a cheer. We are Chick-fil-A. We are, no. For me, I mean, I will tell you, when I watch that, because I live this every day, that it really creates a lump in my throat because of what it means. You know, when I was graduating and I walked across that floor, that stage in 1984, if you would have told me, Richard, you are going to have a career in a fast food restaurant, I would have looked at you and said, you are smoking crack. Because that was the furthest thing from my mind. In all the jobs, well, I say all the jobs, I've had 2 jobs in my life other than Chick-fil-A. Never had a day that didn't have a job. But I didn't prepare myself to be in a fast food business. I was in a retail business where I was wearing the sharpest of suits, the nicest of shirts, the cleanest of ties every day. And I made it, and I was in the men's retail business, and I made it to where every other man looked that great too. And then fast forward, I go to work, and I wear khakis a lot of days, and I get peanut oil on me every day. I've got chicken stuff in the cracks of my shoes. And when your dog wants to eat your shoes when you walk in, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. And I would have never thought that that's what I would do. But it's what God called me to do because of a word that was in there also about influence. It gives me the opportunity to have influence in the communities that we serve and that I serve in. And it gives me the ability to come and do this today. Because when I did before, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be in elementary schools. I wouldn't be able to do the things that we do within our community. Michael can tell you, we're everywhere. We touch everything that moves. Why? Because that's what people need. That's what our community needs. And I'm a firm believer, if you help people get what they need, they will help you get what you need. So that's kind of, the thing. So I never thought I would be an entrepreneur. So let's just take this whole word of entrepreneurship. I'm sure you all use that word in a business class, the principles of business and marketing. And let's take this word entrepreneurship. And Josh, you got it up there for me? All right, let's go ahead and power down a little bit. All right, we've got a definition. If you go to the sage of Wikipedia, entrepreneurship is the process of designing, launching, and running a new business, the capacity and the willingness to develop, organize, and manage a business venture along with any of its risks in order to make a profit. So, entrepreneurship is the process of designing, launching, and running a new business. All right, Chick-fil-A has been in business since 1967. Started with a little restaurant with 10 tables and 4 stools. The first day they were ever in business, they did $58. This past year, Chick-fil-A did almost $6 billion. $6 billion, $5.8 billion, that's with a B. And here's the thing, and for those educators that are in here, the professors, and that will appreciate this even more, we're 100% debt free, which is amazing to me, to have a $5.8 billion organization with 2,000 restaurants and be 100% debt free. All by selling chicken sandwiches and nuggets and lemonade and fries. It's amazing that we can do that. And the way it's set up is they look for guys like me to be entrepreneurial in my spirit enough to go out and run this business. Now, Chick-fil-A started it, but they're looking for entrepreneurs who have a business savvy to go out and take the business because, for instance, y'all just opened one here in Princeton a couple weeks ago. And what happens is Chick-fil-A builds the building, they buy the land, they build the building, they equip it, and then they come to Mike Wade, who's the owner-operator, and they drop the keys in his hand and say, "It's yours. Merry Christmas." It's up to him to hire all of his people, train his people, to advertise, to market, to engage in the community, and to run that business every day. Now, we're in business for ourselves, but not by ourselves, because we have that partnership agreement with Chick-fil-A that we're in this business thing together. But they're looking for guys with an entrepreneurial spirit. And that's what we have, is an entrepreneurial spirit. Now, I do this presentation, for a lot of places and a lot of different levels, whether it's colleges, high schools, wherever. And I do this around the theory of Mythbusters. Anybody ever see the TV show Mythbusters? Okay, most of us have. All right, and what they're doing on Mythbusters is they're taking something that people have heard can happen, think that might happen, and then they put it through the test. Well, is that really what happens? And is it true that it happens that way? Well, in college, you're coming here and you're studying business and you're talking about entrepreneurship, and maybe you have the thought of I want to be in business someday. And now we've got this show called Shark Tank, and it's my favorite show, and I watch it, because these people have this product, and you hear them say all the time, well, really, you don't have a business, you've got a product. You don't have a business yet, so I'm out. And then they're on their own to go figure it out. So I want to take this theory of entrepreneurship, and let's take it and let's peel back the onion a little bit and say, why would anybody, and this is the group participation part, why would anybody want to go into business for yourself? Why would anybody want to be an entrepreneur? And as you call out the reasons you think, Josh is going to scribe them on his iPad and they're going to come up here, okay? So just shoot them out. Shoot out what reasons you think that I or anybody would want to be crazy enough to open your own business. Be your own boss? Is that what you said? All right, you're the boss. It's always the first word. All right, I saw another hand. Yes?
Maybe to identify some kind of need that's not being served in a community.
Okay, identify needs. Okay. More? Come on, guys. I know you got these.
More money.
More money. More money. You mean so I can make more money?
Hopefully.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, the way most people say is that you make all the money. That they think, that I make all the money. All right? So what else? There's some real apparent ones that are still out here. How about you don't have to work a schedule? Okay, people think, that's the one that, a lot of people say, well, you just do whatever. You just go play golf. You run over to Concord, you talk to them, and you do this and you do that. I don't see you in the store all the time. And that's what people say to me all the time. If a guest does not see me in that store when they're eating, I'm not working. Well, you don't work anymore. Oh, okay, great, thanks. Okay, thanks, I appreciate that. So, so you don't, you know, I get to make my own schedule. Anything else?
Change the world.
I can change the world. I want to be able to change the world. Any others? Okay, Josh, let's go with the big three. The big three are usually, first of all, you are the boss. So what if this gentleman up at the top said, I'm the boss? So what are you really saying if I'm the boss? That nobody tells me what to do. Is that accurate? So because I'm the entrepreneur, because I own the business, nobody tells me what to do, right? Right? Nobody tells me what to do. I'm getting some head shakes. No, well, who? If that's, well, I'm the boss. Well, who's going to tell me what to do? Everyone else. Well, let's start with the customers. All right. I'm sure I've met you, but what's your name, sir?
Jack Yeager.
Mr. Yeager says. Jack says the customers. Well, why would they tell me what? You know, how are they going to tell me what to do? Well, here's the deal. Which pocket? You know, they've got these things called dollars. All right? They vote every day. Every day's election day at my business because they vote with these. Well, really, it's credit cards 58% of the time. But, you know, they vote with their dollars. They vote with their dollars. And they tell me if I'm good enough for them to come and spend their money with. So they have choices. Imagine that. They have choices. Not a lot of choices in Athens, but in Beckley, we've got a few more choices. Okay? So they've got choices of where to go. And there's even a new competitor that's opening up next week right down the street from me. Cookout. Yeah? So they're going to have another option of where to go. So they tell me how I should do my business. And this is the part I love, is they tell me how I need to donate my business too. People say, Richard, does a lot of people ask you for donations? And this is my standard line. If 4 people a day don't come to me and ask me for a donation, I haven't been to work. And they don't just say, hey, Jack, you know, we're doing this little thing down the school. We were wondering if you could help us out. Oh, no. They come to you and they say, hey, Jack, we're doing this thing down at the school, and we need you to give us a $100 sponsorship because we're having a golf tournament. We need you to buy a $100 hole sponsor. Was there any? No, that's what I want. You know how many golf tournaments there are in the world? You know, in Beck? I mean, there's got to be 50 golf tournaments a year that all want $100. Do the math. I can't do it all. It just doesn't happen. So the customers are telling me how we need to do it. All right, who else tells me what to do? Who else? Does the employees ever tell me what to do? Yeah. Employees tell me what to do. And if I don't do sometimes the things that they want me to do, what do? They can quit and go somewhere else. They've got options. And let me tell you what, today, the biggest challenge in business today, if you were to ask me, Richard, what's the number one challenge that you deal with every day? It's people. There is a war on talent. There's a war for talent out there today because we're all looking for the same people. And you happen to be in a new group of people that I never heard of until the last couple years. And they're called millennials. And the millennials are different than the generation of Jack and I. Oh, well, all right, the old farts, okay? Us old farts, I mean, we did it a little bit differently. And millennials look at it differently. And I'm not throwing stones at them because I understand why it happened. See, our generation saw people go to work for somewhere and never leave. Our moms and dads had a job at one place and never left. Never. They were lifers. But then there were us who saw things start to shift out there. And our kids, my daughter, Laura, she's 21 years old. She fits into that millennial group, anything that's that 15 to 35 group. All right, you saw all kinds of crap happen out there with people's employment. So you don't trust like we used to trust. You don't have loyalty like we used to see loyalty. So what do? So what do we see millennials doing? We see millennials jumping from this job to that job to this job, and they don't think twice about it. They'll call you on hey, I'm not going to come to work. Yeah, huh? What? Where's your notice? I've already got something. There's just not that loyalty like there used to be. So we have to think differently, and we have to, engage you and energize you differently than I was engaged and energized. So it's different out there. So I have to listen to my employees. Let me tell you something. This year, I've told myself I'm going to do something a little bit different than in the past, and I'm going to try to be a little bit more what I would call relational. I'm going to be more relational with my people this year. Now, I have given them bonuses. I've done all kinds of things. They've made thousands and thousands of dollars in bonus for hitting objectives and goals, because that's our generation. We're objective and goal-oriented people, so we believe in that. So I said, but I'm going to try to do something a little bit differently. I want to try to be a little bit more relational. And the first thing that I want to try to do is, now this is earth-shattering stuff here. Write this down. I started sending birthday cards. Nothing in it but a handwritten note. I've been doing it for 2 months, and I've had more appreciation and interaction from my people that have had their birthday than anything I've ever done. I go to Walmart and I go to that dollar rack. They're cheap. They're really cheap. But people are going, hey, Richard, thank you for that. Their parents are coming. You wouldn't believe the reaction that she had when she got that card from you. It's those little, but I have to listen to those employees. They're telling me what to do. All right, who else is telling me what to do? How about the government? The government tells me what to do. The state of West Virginia tells me what to do. State of West Virginia, January 1st, just told me that over the last 2 years, I've got to pay my people 21.46% more income than they maybe entered the workforce 2 years ago. I didn't vote for that. They didn't ask me, Richard, do you think this is a good idea? They just told me this is what you're going to do. And I said, okay. Well, when those people, now I'm a firm believer. I love my 15 and my 16-year-old kids, and I want to hire them because somebody hired me when I was 15 years old and they gave me a chance. But I am yet to find too many of them that are worth $875 to start out with. And the government told me you have to start them at $875. Well, if the government says that minimum wage is starting at $875, let's get this right. $875 minimum wage. Minimum wage was never set up to be a living wage. That's a starting wage. And then you grow from there. But what they've done now is they've set it up to where at such a bar that it's going to put businesses out of business. It's going to put small businesses out of business because they've said that's what we have to do. So we got to figure that out. So if minimum wage is $875, I am not the kind of kid that I hire, or just anybody that I hire is not that $875 person. So I got to pay them a little bit more. And then all the people that I had that's been with me 5, 6, 7 years, and they've got their wages built up to $9.50, whatever. Well, what do you think they want? They want to raise too. If they're watching a 16-year-old come in making $875, then But the government told me what I had to do. What about the health department? I'm in the food business. Do you think the health department went to Chipotle in 2015 and told them what they better change? You damn Skippy, they did. I'm here to tell you, because they had a problem. Things were going on in their kitchens that had to change, and the health department said, you better fix it, or we're going to shut you down. And that's what they say to me too. They come through my place and they go, you know, why is that bottle over there? Why is that towel sitting there? It's not supposed to be here. It's supposed to be sitting in a sanitizer. I mean, all these things, they tell you what you have to do. So am I the boss? No. I'm the caretaker. I'm the caretaker, and I have all these people telling me what I have to do. So then I have to impart it on. So the reason I got into business was just not because I want to be the boss. Josh, what else do we have? I make all the money. You know, that's the way it is. The guy who owns the business makes all the money, right? Right? I'm not hearing you. Does the guy who owns the business make all the money? No. Well, but I'm the one that gets paid first. Right? Who said last? It was the voice from the back. The sage voice from the back row said, I'm the one that gets paid last. Well, who gets paid first? Employees get paid first. I have to make sure you get paid first. Okay, well then I'm second. At least I'm second, right? That's not a bad place to be. You know, second place is not bad. Yeah. The wise president of the university over here says the government is second. Is she right? Yes. She is right. The government gets their piece. They get their taxes. Okay, well, I wanted to be first. I wasn't first, and she's telling me I'm not second, and the government's telling me I'm not. So I'm third. At least I'm third. No? Jack, you mean I'm not third?
Got to pay your suppliers.
What? Some businesses don't, but I do.
Not for long.
I'm not saying who, but I got to pay my suppliers. I got to pay Crook's Produce. I got to pay Flowers Bakery. I got to pay the landlord. I got to pay my bills. Let me tell you what the entrepreneur is known as. The entrepreneur is known as Mr. What's Left. I'm what's left. Because if there's anything left at the end of the day, at the end of the month, when we take y'all, who teaches accounting? There's got to be an accounting teacher in here somewhere. Okay? We got the accounting teacher in the back. So she knew the answer was I'm what's left. I'm the bottom line guy. I'm what's left. Once we take those sales and we take all those lines off the P&L, the profit and loss statement, and at the end of the day, at the bottom of that, what's that called? Net profit. If there's anything left, it's net profit. And that's the part that I get to share in. Because even the part that's left there, I still have to share that with the federal government and the state government to the tune of, you know, we're in the month of April. Starting next month, I get to make $1 because these first 3-4 months, I don't get a penny of it because I'm giving it to the state, I'm giving it to the federal. I've been working for them so far. You know, so that's what Mr. What's Left gets. That's just the way it is. So we've determined that I'm not the boss, that I don't make all the money. Well, then the reason that I did this is you make your own schedule. Whew. Because I really enjoy my own personal free time. I enjoy playing golf every day. I enjoy going to the movies all the time. I enjoy cruising and vacationing, and that's true, I do. But because I don't have to work that much. Because I've got all my team and my employees, I've got Josh and my leadership team. They do all the work, and I just show up when I want to. Well, here's what happens. Last week, well, let me start this. Let me take it back to 2015. In southern West Virginia, and not just West Virginia, everywhere, we have an epidemic that's going on. And it's called drugs. We've got problems out there. And the effects of it are affecting all of us in our business and everything else. And there's businesses that have tried to open in Beckley, a restaurant particular a few years ago. Their building was completed and it sat there for several months and they didn't open it for one reason. They couldn't hire enough people to pass their drug tests. So I took this big risk in 2015, and in 2015 I decided I'm going to start drug testing. Do I have a problem in my business? Nope. I haven't had anybody come in what I would call stoned, smashed, smoking pot during the break or anything like that. I haven't caught anything like that. But I have this duty to myself and to my people to create what I would consider the safest work environment that I can possibly create. Because I hire 15, 16, 17-year-olds and above. And one of the things that we do is before we hire that 15, 16, 17-year-old, any student, I bring in Jack, their mom or their dad, or, I bring him in and and we're going to have this, what I call three-legged stool conversation. People say, what's the three-legged stool conversation? Well, if you ever seen a three-legged stool, you understand how it works. There's only three legs, and I tell them this is a three-way partnership. This is a relationship between your son or daughter, me, and you. Because I'm trying to help you raise your son or daughter to understand what it's like to have a job, to learn what it's like to work with the public and work with a team and have responsibility and have to work a schedule and all these things. And your responsibility is to help support me and what I'm expecting of them. And if any one of those legs don't work, then we have a broken stool and that stool won't stand up. And I tell them, I am going to do everything I can to create a safe environment for you to trust that your child is in. Well, in our business, we're dealing with fryers that's got 350-degree oil in it. We've got choppers, we've got equipment, we've got knives, we've got slick floors, we've got guests, we've got food. And that's not the dangerous part. The dangerous part is that we're dealing with food. Handled incorrectly can make people sick. Handled incorrectly can kill somebody. I come back to Chipotle. Chipotle had a problem in a couple stores. Somebody got sick. What do you think it did to Chipotle's business? Down 30%. Profits crashed. Stock price crashed. Those are mistakes we can't afford to make. And I got to have people thinking right and straight when they're doing it. So we started this drug testing thing. We started pre-employment drug testing in January. Haven't had one positive result of somebody being on drugs when they tried to get a job. Not one. Yay, team. Last week was the first round of random tests. We send the first group of people in. Guy walks in. I won't use his name, but he walks in. And when he walks in, the guys that run the company that we're doing the testing with, they know him. A conversation starts up. And HR girl who took him over there for the test, her eyes get like saucers and she's going, oh God, I've never heard it. What's going on here? I don't know what he's talking about, you know? And, you know, he goes and takes his test. He's fine. He passes the test. Yay, good. But we learned something about him that day. And then when we confronted him, he denied it. And then we said, well, we heard some things come out of that conversation, and it sounds like you've had a criminal background, that there's been some things in your past, and we've pulled out your application, and you said here you've never been convicted of a felony. Have you been convicted? Oh, no. What happened was this, and he's dancing. So we just asked the hard question. Jack, if we do a criminal background check on you right now, are we going to see that you've had a felony? Yes. So, here comes the question. Where do we go from here, precious Jesus? Do we go, Jack, you know you shouldn't have done that, buddy. You know better. You know, don't tell lies. That's not good. You promise not to do that again? Or do we say, you falsified an application, you lied to us 3 years ago, and you sit here and lied today? You don't fit our organization, and because you've done that, and you signed a handbook that said that, you know, that if you lied, you were gone. Sorry, Jack. You know, we have to part ways. We fired him on the spot. On the spot. Now, what happens when that happens? Do you think we've got a whole host of people just waiting in the back going, hey, coach, put me in. I'm ready to come to work at 4 o'clock. As soon as you fire his butt, I'm in. Put me in. Nope, doesn't work that way. Then I'm the fry guy. I'm the dining room guy. I'm the truck unloader guy. I got to step in. I got to fill the gap. It's my business. It's my responsibility. I've got to do it. But you make your own schedule. Yeah, I make the own schedule because I'm the guy who stands in when Jack doesn't show up. And I'm not going to ask who's ever done this because in a group this size, there's somebody that's done this. You've been on the schedule at 4 o'clock. You call at 3 o'clock, Mr. Gerald, I'm not going to be able to make it today. Can't come to work. Well, what am I going to do? Who am I going to call at 3 o'clock when Jack's supposed to be there at 4? I'm not going to find somebody probably. So it's us. It's me. Because you're the guest, you're the one that's voting, and if you wait in longer lines and you don't get the service, then you're not coming back. So I got to do everything I can to make sure that you have a great experience, and you don't know that Jack just lied to me for 3 years and he just got fired. It's got to be seamless. So this whole thing of entrepreneurship, people go into it with the thought of, I can be my own boss. I can make the money. You can make your own schedule. And that's all cool. And it's great. And you know what? There is, Josh is putting lines through them now because they're false. No. But you do have all of this at your ability, but you have to build an organization that can withstand all this trouble that I just described. So that at the end of the day, there is money left over to where I can make a living. But then you say, Richard, okay, why do you do what you do? And it's a word that starts with I. And it's influence. Because I worked for a publicly held company before. And in that publicly held company, and for those of you who might not know what that really means today yet, means it's a company that trades stocks. You have stockholders. And I worked for that publicly held company, and I found out real quick that you were only as good as yesterday's business. I was only as good as yesterday's sales. I could go from hero to goat overnight. Man, you had a great sales month in March, buddy. You were awesome. But in April, I sucked. Why? Because for whatever reason, something happened. But I didn't get stupid overnight. Well, and we made decisions that were not good for the long term of the business, but because we had a stockholder group and analysts that expected us to return 14 cents a share. Some analysts said that we were going to return 14 cents a share. And if you return 12 cents a share, accounting lady in the back, how does that work out for you?
The price of the stock goes down.
Price of the stock goes down. And the president of that company, the CEO, and all the people within it has bonus structures and salary structures that are what? Tied to the earnings per share and tied to the stock price. So what happens? Life is not good. And we ran our business to make those people happy. And it just sucked the life out of me because I couldn't live that way. I wanted to be part of an organization where I could help the community. I could get involved in schools, and I could go out and I could mentor, and I could come to Concord University and talk to people about business and opportunity. And so I could do those kind of things. So I could hire a 16-year-old kid that doesn't deserve a job because nobody else is going to give him a chance. Because I'm willing to sit there and tell them, these are my standards and these are my expectations. Because people look at me and they go, Richard, why is Chick-fil-A so different? Why is because we have standards and expectations and we don't negotiate. I'm not here to negotiate. That is the rules. The worst boss I ever had taught me one thing, and that is this. And if you come out of here today with this, you will have got more than a chicken sandwich. The lowest accepted performance is the new accepted standard. I'll say it again, the lowest accepted performance is the new accepted standard. If I tell Jack, when you come to work, I want to see you in the uniforms that we buy are the brand Ubi. I want to see you in my Ubi shirt, Ubi pant, Ubi belt, Ubi hat, black slip-resistant shoes, and black socks. Clear? Clear. Got it? Got it. Jack comes in tomorrow, and he's got on his Ubi shirt, Ubi pant, Ubi belt, black slip-resistant shoes, no hat. Jack, where's your hat? Oh, I lost it. I left it at home. Well, okay. Well, if I let Jack do that, tomorrow, what's he going to do? He's going to show up. If I don't say anything to him, he's going to show up tomorrow without the hat, and he's probably going to show up without the belt. And that sends Jack a message. That sends Jack a message that negotiating is okay. And that also means that when he takes his break, if I tell him your break is 20 minutes, well, he's going to take 25. He's going to take 30. I'm going to tell him this is the way you make a sandwich. Well, I don't like doing it your way. I'm going to make it my way. Then I'm going to cut this corner here. Everything's a negotiation. But you can't negotiate, guys. That organizations that are here and built for the future, they've got standards and they've got expectations. And I'm talking about even this is a major business here. What's the budget of the school?
$38 million.
We've got a $38 million organization here. And you know what makes a successful $38 million organization? You think Dr. Bogus comes out there and just throws the keys on the table and says, go to it, Jack. Go to it. Y'all knock yourself out. Let me know how it worked out. No, it comes from having standards and expectations of how we're going to measure things. And if it doesn't go well, we're going to have some courageous conversations, because this is what organizations do. And this is what entrepreneurship, this is what leadership is about. And we are screaming for leadership out there in the world today, whether it's in schools and businesses and churches, wherever. You've got to have courageous, strong leadership. And if I was to say something to you, here it is. Last night was the Final Four, right? And what do they play at the end of the Final Four? One shining moment. We almost had outcries that they were going to change the song. But it was still Luther. I stayed up and it's still Luther. Luther Vandross singing One Shining Moment. Here's your one shining moment, guys. What you're working on is important here. Finish strong. Get that paper. Get that paper. Because it tells me you committed yourself to something and you stuck to something and you finished it. Now, from that point on, it's all up on you. What are you going to bring in, wherever you go in life, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with it? Business is an organization, we're screaming for and begging for people of courage and honor who want to come in and work hard every day. And you know what? Opportunities will present themselves for you as you present yourself every day. If you come in and you work hard every day, your life will get better. Trust me, it will. Because there's enough slackers out there in the world today just wanting to get by. And that's what they're going to get, is they're just going to get by. So I just say, bring it every day to whatever you do. Bring 100% of yourself every day. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, I'm not trying to scare you away from entrepreneurship. But I'm here to tell you that you're going to work for somebody. If you ain't working for yourself, you're going to work for somebody else. Appreciate that they're having to deal with those things, because that is the realities of business and life today. So I wanted to give you a couple minutes for question and answer. I got 2 minutes. So what questions might you have about entrepreneurship, business, Chick-fil-A, me, Washington Redskins, whatever? Throw it out. Crickets? Yes, sir.
Mr. Joe, you're about to be the board of governors representative, correct?
Yes, sir.
As a leader at the university of a $36 million budget that's continually being cut by the state, how do you envision the future of Concord?
You got to do it better. When I say you got to do it better, it's this. I don't care what the budget is. I don't care how much they cut it. Whatever you do it with excellence. Okay? We have to do everything that we do here with excellence. This is what I say about my business. I don't care if they open another Chick-fil-A right beside me. Okay? There are some people around that, they've heard the press. The reality of life is WVU is opening in Beckley. You think they're worried about Concord? They're not worried. They're not trying to compete for Concord students. They're trying to compete with Virginia Tech. They want to build a university that's high on academics and engineering. That's who they're going for. All right, we're more liberal arts over here. We're business. We're education. This has been known as a strong education and a business school for years. Then we have to, and I mean everybody, you're invested in this too. She's invested, he's invested, you're invested. But you're invested, okay? We've got to do the very best we can do every day. Quick story. Josh, this Saturday, had his daughter here for math field day. Okay, I don't know if y'all knew it. Math field day for the state, for the region was right here on Concord's campus. Every time somebody walks on this campus, they walk away with an impression. It's either a great impression or a negative impression. And it happens from the time you see the sign Campus Beautiful to the way you're dealt with and engaged with and everything. Now, do we have some opportunities along the way? And I say we. I am part of your organization now. Yeah, we do. We had some opportunities to make it even more remarkable than it was. But there was, at the end of the day, Josh needed to get his daughter to the awards ceremony, which was in the auditorium, in the Fine Arts Auditorium. There wasn't a sign that said Fine Arts Auditorium this way. So he sees a girl, a young student, and he goes, "Excuse me, can you tell me where the Fine Arts Auditorium is?" "Yes, sir." "Where would that be?" "I'll take you." Drop the mic. Drop the mic. It don't get better than that. You can do that. What kind of impression does that make on him? And he's the one that's going to be writing the check when his daughter, in about, 6 years, is ready to go to college. Look at him breathing. You know, he might hearken back on that experience. Man, you know, that was something. But everything, whether you walk by a piece of trash, you know, am I making myself clear? We all have a responsibility in this. We will survive. We don't have, there's not a choice of what's going to happen. Look, the budget from the state has been cut in everywhere, on every discipline that there is. Every discipline in the state. We know we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Failure is not an option here. We have got to figure it out. Now that means that we better be willing to change. And there's only one person in life that likes change. You know who that is? That's a baby with a wet diaper. And we better be willing to change with it. You know, we got to do things differently, but we got to do it with excellence. I'm here to tell you, the economy's down. People keep telling me the economy sucks. We've lost our job. Why is my business up? I'm talking double digits. Why? Because I refuse to suck up to that stuff, that negative stinking thinking. We're going to do it better. And we're going to win. And what's our mantra, Josh? No excuses, just solutions. That's the way we're going to do it. Anything else? Any other questions? So y'all tell me, can we survive this? Can we survive this? We can. I sat in a room with 70 of your leadership, with about 70 people, last Friday, 2 Fridays ago, writing all kinds of opportunities and solutions and stuff. Look, they're committed. They're in. You know, their strategic bet is we're going to make this work. And what happened Saturday? Friday night, I got a personal text from somebody, but it hit front page of the paper Saturday. There's another organization, you know, New River Community College, laying people off, you know, this and that, you know, woe is me. I mean, maybe that's a little wake-up call to people go, this is real. This is real. But I need you all to be ambassadors for Concord University. Concord, you are the best selling point that we have. And if that happens, we win. We don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on marketing. You're the best marketing piece we've got. I believe in you. She believes in you. And I need you. I need you. I need you. If you know somebody that's looking for a great place to have an opportunity to learn leadership, to learn servant leadership, how to serve the public, we've got opportunities. If you need an internship, talk to us. You know, and we can create, we're flexible. We can help create whatever it is you need to do. Thanks for your time today. Thanks for what you're doing here. And let me tell you what, I've been very impressed with the servant leadership attitude of people at Concord. You all really get it. And I appreciate that, so thank you.